Hello everyone. In today's video, we will manipulate the DNA of a metahuman to rig your own character's facial rig. First, let's open the plugin manager and check if the plugin is correctly loaded from the current TunaTools path. For those who have previously installed the Metahuman plugin for Maya using QuickShell Bridge, the plugins may appear duplicated. Good. Now let's open the DNA editor. Shall we click on Load DNA? An error pops up saying there's no functioning DNA rig in the current scene. This DNA editor requires at least one node in the current scene that is reading DNA to function. Therefore, we will use the DNA viewer to load an example DNA file into the scene. To load the DNA rig, you need to set the DNA file and various GUI paths. Ada's DNA file is included in the TunaTools path, so please refer to the path on the screen. Loading DNA through the DNA viewer can take quite some time. Once the DNA is successfully loaded, you will see the current DNA detected in green in the DNA editor tool. If the character moves correctly when you select and move the controller, it means the DNA is being read correctly by the plugin node. Now you can click on Load DNA, and the user can read the same DNA file here. Next, we'll load our character, which we created in previous sessions, as a reference. Let's copy only the head LOD0 mesh and its accessory meshes of our character and bring them out. These meshes were created in our mesh editing tutorial, so if you don't have this data, please refer to my previous tutorials. You can turn off the reference once it's loaded. I will reapply the shading nodes that were broken. Before modifying the DNA, we need to ensure that the names of these meshes do not duplicate in the scene. Please rename the head mesh to an appropriate name. The names must not be duplicated in the scene. The same goes for other meshes, including group names. Make sure they are unique and do not duplicate in the scene. If you use this tool with duplicated names, it will not function correctly later, so make sure to change the names to be distinct. I will save the current scene safely in a different location. Please save your scene in its current state safely before making any changes. Now, let's open Ada's DNA in this tool. If the DNA is read correctly, a window will pop up asking if the current scene is Y up or Z up. Our scene is Y up, right? The axis direction at the bottom left shows Y pointing upwards. So click Yes. It's recommended to use this tool with Y up only, and avoid using Z up if possible. The DNA editor we've developed displays almost all the information of the currently loaded DNA. It shows the information of meshes for each LOD and the initial joint coordinate values. It also shows all the motion data information of the logic driving this rig. And this DNA editor is not just a viewer, but an editor. It's a powerful tool that allows you to modify all this DNA information. Great. We will handle this tool very carefully. First, go to the Transfer tab. This tab provides functions related to warping the current DNA to transform it into a different facial shape. Place our character's face mesh here. If you click Run Transfer Setting right away, an error message will appear, stating that you need to set the DNA output path in advance. I will specify the DNA save path to a location of my choice. Now, let's click Run Transfer Setting again. If you can't proceed further or something isn't working, it might be because of duplicate names in the scene causing bugs. Make sure to check this before clicking the button. If the settings are completed successfully and you already have additional meshes prepared, a message will prompt you to replace them. This means that when you run the transfer, additional meshes like eyelashes are automatically adjusted to fit the face. The tool attempts to shape these supplementary meshes during the initial transfer. So, Theoretically, you could set up the face with just the head LOD0 mesh. However, this might not be very detailed and could result in issues. To prevent this, we can use our already detailed additional meshes created with the Mesh Warp tool to replace the automatically generated ones. To replace these meshes, select the meshes we imported earlier and click the Swap Selected Meshes button. This function automatically swaps the selected meshes with the ones that have matching vertex counts. For meshes like the eyeballs, which have the same vertex count, make sure they are labeled to distinguish between the left and right sides. Now that we've completed the replacements, let's temporarily hide the source meshes. Do not delete them yet. Has the replacement been done correctly? You can see that all the LODs have been replaced. The meshes we created based on LOD0 are automatically applied to each LOD this way. Great, everything's going smoothly so far. Now we're going to change the position of the eyeball joints. Let's temporarily hide the head mesh. You can see that the eye joint is not centered in the eyeball mesh. We need to fix this. Do not touch the original mesh. Instead, duplicate the mesh and use Modify. Center Pivot. This will place the pivot at the center of the duplicated mesh. Again, leave the original mesh as is and use the duplicate. Next, if you move the eye joint, the mesh will follow, so we need to temporarily turn off the skinning. By turning off the skin, we can adjust the position. Match this position using Modify, Match Transform, Match Translation. Also, for the pupil joint, align it to the front center vertex of the eyeball using the V key for snapping. Yes, now let's delete the duplicated eyeball mesh, as we no longer need it. Let's do the same for the other side. Duplicate the eyeball mesh, center the pivot, then make sure skinning is off and adjust the position. Also, adjust the position of the pupil joint. Once done, delete the duplicated mesh. It's very simple, right? For the teeth or mouth mesh, it just needs to be approximately correct. But let's take a look. The tongue seems to be in the right position, but it would be better to move it slightly lower. Yes, I'll lower it just a bit. Now, it looks like everything is ready. Since we temporarily turned off all the skin values earlier, let's turn the skin back on. When the skin is on, the mesh will follow the joint movements. Conversely, when the skin is off, you can adjust the joint positions while maintaining the skin values. Once everything is ready, click the Save Transfer Settings button. It will ask if you want to save it as DNA, and you should confirm this by saving it. Now, we no longer need the meshes we used as sources, so let's delete them all. At this stage, the character should be able to move with the controllers. The result will vary greatly depending on the character's appearance, but usually a character that has gone through just one transfer won't have very good facial expressions. Therefore, you need to readjust the movement data to fit the character's size and facial proportions. In this character's case, the wrinkles that appear when smiling don't look natural. We need to remove the wrinkles instead. When the eyeballs rotate, the eyelashes are poking through the mesh. Let's do some more testing and then make overall adjustments. Yes, the wrinkles are indeed too prominent. These wrinkles are created by both the blend shapes and the joint movements. If you start with a realistic template like Ada and change it to a cartoon-style Metahuman, you will need to make quite a few adjustments. Now, let's adjust the behavior to reflect the size and proportions of this character. First, import the data we initially loaded from Ada's template as DNA into the current scene as a reference. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ada, but the rigging structure must be identical to your current character. Make sure to import it as a reference and include the namespace. Once you have imported it, go to the Behavior Retarget tab. This tab is used to retarget the overall movements of another metahuman to your character's metahuman in real time. In the outliner, select all the hierarchy of Ada's joints. Then, click on Set Selected Reference Joints. Once the retarget settings are done, our character will start moving in real time, following the movements of the imported Ada reference. This movement is not from the DNA, but the result of retargeting the joint movements in real time. Using these retarget settings, we can adjust parameters for each pose. Various retarget parameters are provided. Changing these values will send the updated values to the tool in real time for each pose. I'll find and adjust a smiling expression. When you set up the retarget, it automatically adjusts the overall settings to match the proportions and size of the character, so the delta values for the expressions will be somewhat aligned with this character. In this way, you can design poses using several parameters. However, for now, we need to do an overall calibration, so we won't be designing each expression individually at this stage. We'll use the default values from the initial retargeting. As mentioned before, once the initial retargeting is done, all poses are adjusted to match the size and proportions of our character. It's best to save this result to the DNA first, and then work on modifying each pose. First, let's click Set Keyframes, DNA All Logic, to bake all the logic into keyframes. If you move the timeline, you will see key values baked into each frame for the logic. These are the controller key values, and changing the retarget settings will apply them in real time. By using this keyframe feature, you can view all the logic of the metahuman at once. For example, let's check out the smiling expression. When searching through the controllers, I found that the smiling expression is at pose number 336. On the keyframe timeline, it's marked as frame 337. This keyframe function is not intended for making modifications, but rather for reviewing the character's expressions to ensure there are no glitches. Of course, you can change settings here to make adjustments. The modified values will be saved as the unique parameter values for that specific logic. When you switch to a different logic, the corresponding values for that logic will be displayed. In other words, you can save values individually for each logic. For now, let's set all values to their defaults and calibrate all the logic as I mentioned earlier. I will delete the keyframed items for now, since they are only for verification and not needed at the moment. Please return to a state where nothing has been moved. Before we save the current retarget to DNA, we will reduce many of the blendShape values for this character. We will automatically calculate the ratio by comparing the head of the Ada character with this character's head. It is said to be 1.02 times larger, but this isn't very accurate. By forcibly lowering the scale ratio, we can reduce the influence on all blendShape delta values. Just think of this simply as the weight value of the blendShape. Now, when you press the Resize blendShape delta button, all the blendShape values in the current DNA will be multiplied by 0.2. It asks if you want to save it to the current DNA, but please don't save it now. Save it after all the retarget data DNA conversion processes are completed later. Before pressing this button, make sure all the logic is checked. In special cases, you can right-click to disable or enable the desired items. If everything is ready, press the button. It says that due to the increased computational load, the current viewport will be temporarily turned off. Click Yes. Yes, this is how you proceed with the operation to put the retargeted results into DNA. After performing the initial transfer, it is good practice to use Behavior Retarget once to calibrate all the logic overall. Additionally, this tool treats computation and saving to DNA as separate processes. Therefore, it is more efficient to save to DNA only after all computations or modifications are complete. Great, the calibration is now complete. Please save it to DNA. It may take some time to save to DNA. If everything is saved correctly, you will see a message indicating that the Behavior Retarget settings have been successfully completed, and the set data will disappear cleanly. Everyone, if you see this state, it means the current scene is no longer needed. When you load your newly saved DNA back into the DNA viewer, you will see a very clean state of rigging. Let's start a new scene and load our DNA through the DNA viewer. Please keep all the settings the same as before, except for the DNA. Yes, it looks like our character has been loaded correctly. There are slight differences in the character's movements compared to when we only performed the initial transfer. Overall, it seems the expressions have been optimized for this character, but the wrinkles still appear very prominent when smiling. Even though the blendShape delta values are lower, the wrinkles haven't disappeared. Additionally, the eyes still don't close properly, right? For now, the noticeable areas are around the mouth when smiling and around the eyes when closing them. We will work on adjusting these various facial expressions next time. Other than these expressions, it seems that the calibration for the other expressions is applied fairly well. Good job. So next time, we'll focus on adjusting the overall facial expressions. Thank you for your hard work.